You know, if I had to roll myself to your motherfucking house in a wheelchair, if I lose my kidney, I'ma roll myself to your house, knock on your door, and I'ma you goddamn in your fucking face. Yeah, for real, man. I don't give
Moving on to a case that's gonna make your blood boil. When a man tells you he's coming for you and your family, that ain't no empty threat, baby. William Allman made it crystal clear what he was planning, and on June 14th, he did exactly what he said he would do. But hey, let's talk about how we got here, because this story, it's about more than just one man's rage. What nobody expected was that within minutes of posting his threats online, 40-year-old William Lewis Allman would make good on every single word. At 2:48 in the afternoon, police got that call nobody wants to hear: multiple gunshots at the Forest at Columbia Apartments on Columbia Drive in DeKalb County. When officers rolled up to that scene, they found devastation that would shake an entire community. A young woman shot multiple times, but that wasn't even the worst part. See, there was another body, someone who should have been safe, someone who had their whole life ahead of them. This is the story of Tameca Pullins, and baby, we need to talk about how the system failed her. You're watching Shadow Crimes TV, where we bring true crime and domestic violence stories out of the shadows. Subscribe now and join us daily as we uncover the cases that demand to be heard. Don't just watch, be part of the conversation.
Amazon Prime made a bitch come faster than Amazon Prime, yeah.
Let me tell you about Tameca Pullins. Born in 1994, raised right there in Stone Mountain, Georgia. This woman was the definition of solid, graduated from Stone Mountain High School, and built herself a life that was all about love, responsibility, and keeping it real. At 29, Tameca was working as a security guard for NORAD and Associates. Now that's honest work, demanding work, but she embraced it because it meant she could provide for herself and support her family. Girl, she would pick up extra shifts without even complaining, always putting other people's needs before her own. If you knew Tameca, you knew she was that light in dark times. Quick wit, warm laugh, and this calm presence that just made people feel safe around her. Her siblings, they called her the peacemaker of the family. You know, that one person who could smooth over any disagreement and bring everybody back together again. Her friends remember her as fiercely loyal and grounded. Like if you needed somebody to stand by you when it mattered most, Tameca was your girl. And tragically, that unwavering loyalty, that's exactly what would cost her everything. Tameca believed in structure, you feel me? She lived quietly, worked hard, and wanted stability and peace, a future where her children could thrive. In everything she did, love was at the center. That's just who she was. Now this is where things get complicated. Tameca met and eventually married 48-year-old William Lewis Allman. At first, their relationship looked like it could be that hopeful new chapter she was looking for. You know, filled with promises of stability, trust, and companionship. William was several years older and talked like someone who had been through life's challenges and wanted to build something lasting. And Tameca, she was dedicated to her family, driven by this desire to give them a safe, supportive environment. She truly believed she had found a partner who would help her do exactly that. In public, he was affectionate, always saying the right things, making Tameca feel cared for. They spent time together, went to family gatherings, even took little trips, making memories that Tameca hoped would last a lifetime. Encouraged by his words and this image of having a strong partner by her side, she put her trust in him, hoping they could build that secure and loving home she envisioned. But see, that's where the story takes a turn. The age difference, it quickly became less about maturity and more about control. Those closest to Tameca started noticing she didn't always seem like herself anymore. That vibrant energy had dimmed, but despite all of this, the couple kept sharing pictures and videos of themselves together.
Well, who say? I was talking about the judge. The judge told me they just got a high price ass whooping because I whooped her with a Gucci belt. Yeah, it's real Gucci. Stamped in the back from Italy. The nigga been there and eating knockout. See, you know, I got a nice taste, but I'm a broke nigga with a high price taste bud though. You feel me? Yeah, for real. I got your bitch with me, nigga. I got your bitch. I got your bitch with me, nigga. I got your bitch. And she loving this thug and shit. Hey. Put your tongue in your mouth.
You can hear William talking about having expensive tastes, even though he admits he's broke. On the surface, it might sound like a light-hearted joke, but to the people who really knew Tameca, that statement felt like more than just playful banter. It revealed something deeper about William, how he tried to present himself as a man of status and success, even when his financial reality told a completely different story. He flaunted expensive preferences and wanted to be seen as someone in control. Still, Tameca tried to make the marriage work. She wasn't the type to give up easily, especially when her family's future was on the line. She kept hoping things would get better, that William would become the partner she believed he could be. But the truth was, Tameca was dealing with something far more difficult than anyone realized. And soon it would take a much darker turn. By early 2024, Tameca had reached her breaking point. Years of emotional strain, control, and growing fear had taken their toll. The people close to her say she wasn't smiling the way she used to, and that once vibrant woman who lit up family gatherings had started withdrawing. It became crystal clear that Tameca no longer felt safe in her own marriage. So she made a decision that so many victims of domestic abuse struggle to make. She filed for a restraining order against William. She wanted out not just for herself, but for the sake of the loved ones she cared for and supported every single day. That restraining order, it was her first real step toward freedom. But tragically, it may have also marked the beginning of her final chapter. Now, William didn't take the separation well. In fact, he resented it completely. Friends and family say he struggled to accept that Tameca had left him, let alone that she had taken legal steps to keep him away. For a man who was used to being in control, that restraining order was a serious blow to his ego. He didn't like the idea of being shut out of her life. And according to those close to the situation, he became increasingly agitated. After the separation, William's anger started spilling into the public eye. He took to social media, posting videos where he spoke bitterly about Tameca and her family.
Y'all took this shit to another level. Y'all took this shit to another level. I'm talking about, it's the same thing. I call and check on your brother. He cussed me out and accused me of some bullshit. Call and check on you. You come at me the same way. I mean, first of all, when your daddy was whooping me, your mama ass, boy, it wasn't just your mama. It was me and you. Why the f you think they call me Wild Bill? I'm still trying to get over. I'm still trying to figure out what the f I did to you or your brother.
In these clips, he portrayed himself as the victim, claiming he had been mistreated, misunderstood, and pushed aside. He talked about how Tameca had changed and accused her loved ones of turning her against him.
I'm trying to get over how you just talked to me through a message, though. That's how you and your brother be doing. Now, I mean, I ain't never did nothing now on y'all. I always been there for you. You know, I ain't asked you for nothing. You know what I'm saying? None of that. You know, I just reached out to you and everything, little girl. Know what I mean? But for the most talking that crazy like your brother called me a shit. Come on, man, y'all ain't gonna get in my face and say that shit, boy.
But what he said next, girl, that's where things got truly disturbing.
Boy, I don't care no more. Boy, it's gonna be your last time ever disrespecting somebody. You and your ass brother, boy. And calling me and my family out of that name. Come on, man. Come on, man. Slaughter gang. I'ma fuck one of y'all. But swear to God, I ain't gonna do no more talking. When I see you, it's on sight. This is my last one. Let me tell you something, little girl. Boy, I been a grown man. But I will fuck you, your brother, and your boyfriend the fuck up, man. Just give me the address, man. I swear to God, I'm gonna show y'all some. I swear to God, on that thing around God's head, boy. I'm talking about, I don't give a fuck, boy. Boy, you gonna sit there and talk to me any kind of way? Y'all pop that shit. Y'all disrespect me. Don't beg for yourself when a nigga pop up in your face, cause I have no understanding no more. Y'all took this shit to another level.
Let me tell you something. When someone makes threats like that, you better believe them. William's behavior escalated in terrifying ways. He allegedly made direct threats to Tameca's family, stating he would come to their home and shoot it up, regardless of who was inside. And in a chilling twist that's hard to even repeat, he warned that even children wouldn't be spared if they were present. But he didn't stop there.
You know, if I had to roll myself to your motherfucking house in a wheelchair, if I lose my kidney, I'ma roll myself to your house, knock on your door, and I'ma put you goddamn in your fucking face. Yeah, for real, man. I don't give a fuck.
Now, if only Tameca could have gotten a glimpse into the horror that was about to unfold. Because baby, what happened next changed everything. So what? Tameca was trying her best to rebuild her life and move forward after separating from William Ullman. She was determined to put the past behind her, and she moved into the forest at Columbia Apartments on Columbia Drive in DeKalb County, a place that was supposed to offer her a fresh start and the promise of safety for her and her family. Living with her was her 7-year-old niece, Dior Scott. Baby, this little girl was bright as could be, imaginative, loved drawing, singing along to her favorite cartoons, and sharing every single moment of her day with her aunt. The bond between Tameca and Dior, it was something special. Dior looked up to Tameca like she was her whole world and felt completely safe in her care. And Tameca, she cherished every second they spent together. Tameca was focused on creating that stable, loving home she'd always wanted, surrounded by close friends and family who supported her decision to leave William. But tragedy was coming, and nobody saw it heading their way. June 14, 2024, around 2:48 in the afternoon, DeKalb County Police get the call about gunfire at an apartment complex in Stone Mountain. What they discovered when they arrived. Girl, it was beyond devastating, a scene no family should ever have to face.
A massive police presence at an apartment complex in Decatur. These are live images from the First Alert chopper. Let's give you an idea of where this is. The 2500 block of Columbia Drive in DeKalb County in Decatur. This is at the Forest at Columbia Apartments. And we've noticed at least more than a dozen police officers there, K-9 unit as well, kind of surrounding and taping off one particular apartment. We could see a vehicle on the curb there, which is not where it should normally be. It should be in the parking lot there, but it's partially on the curb. So right now, officers investigating, still unclear what's happening right here. We do have our resources in the Atlanta News First newsroom working to find out what's going on.
Officers arrived quickly to find 29-year-old Tameca and her 7-year-old niece Dior with severe gunshot wounds. Despite urgent life-saving efforts, both victims were pronounced dead at the scene.
It's now in a double murder that has shaken a DeKalb County neighborhood. Relatives of the victims say the man who his estranged wife and 7-year-old niece threatened to kill the whole family.
In what should have been the safety of their own home. Like, make it make sense. Who would want them both dead? What went so terribly wrong? Police launched their investigation immediately, and they didn't have to look far to uncover the horrifying truth. Witnesses told them about seeing a man approach the apartment that afternoon. When he was denied entry, things escalated really quickly. He shattered a window and without any hesitation began firing into the home. That man was identified as 48-year-old William Lewis Ullman, Tameca's estranged husband and, disturbingly, Dior's uncle by marriage. Investigators soon confirmed what many people feared. After William had posted all those threatening videos online, he followed through on every single word.
If I lose my kidney, I'ma roll myself to your house, knock on your door, and I'ma put you goddamn in your fucking face.
He had shown up to Tameca's apartment, attempted to force his way inside, and when he was refused entry, he began firing multiple shots through that broken window, fatally striking both victims. When the damage was done, William fled the scene, which triggered a massive manhunt that spread across DeKalb County and beyond.
Manhunt is still underway here across DeKalb County, likely venturing outside of county lines. They are actively looking for the man who opened fire in this apartment right behind.
So as police flooded the streets and neighbors stood frozen in fear, investigators worked with urgency. At least 24 law enforcement vehicles swarmed the area. Officers went door to door, looking for witnesses, surveillance footage, and any clues that could lead them to William's capture. William Lewis Almond was considered armed and dangerous, and the threat he posed to the community was taken seriously. Hours ticked by, tension mounting, until finally authorities were able to track him down.
Police have now captured the man accused of killing a woman and a young child today in DeKalb County.
It happened on Columbia Drive, and police say he was no stranger to the victims.
Meanwhile, the community was struggling to come to terms with the brutal nature of this crime. Investigators confirmed that other people were inside the apartment at the time of the shooting but weren't harmed. Still, the emotional damage was immeasurable. Officer Elise Wells of the DeKalb Police Department addressed the public.
Absolutely. This is something that is completely senseless. Not only do we have 2 lives tragically lost, but one of them a child who's just getting started.
However,
not only do we have 2 lives tragically lost, but one of them a child who's just getting started. But hey, what makes this even more devastating is what came before all of this. Tameca had been reaching out for help. Her mother, Nikita Bruce, revealed a heartbreaking truth.
He told us plenty times, if my child don't come back to him, he will pop every kid in here. He don't care who it is, even he will kill everyone in this house.
The family had been doing everything they could to protect her. Nikita explained that they were actively trying to serve William Almond with legal papers, but despite their efforts, authorities had been unable to locate him. All the while, William continued making those disturbing threats, growing bolder with each passing day. Voicemails, social media posts, even direct warnings to family members. It was all there, but no action came fast enough. Now Nikita and her family are left wondering how many red flags it takes before someone actually steps in. According to Nikita, Almond had warned them more than once. On multiple occasions, he allegedly told them he would come for the family, making his threats loud and clear. Nikita also shared that other people were inside the apartment at the time of the shooting, and some sustained minor injuries during the attack. She said if William had made it inside, she would have lost even more family members. That locked door kept him outside, the only thing that saved the rest of them. Let me tell you something, this could have been so much worse. DeKalb County officials vowed to pursue justice to the fullest extent of the law. County CEO Lorraine Cochran Johnson released a heartfelt message expressing her deep sorrow. No family should ever have to endure such an unthinkable tragedy, she said. As a mother and as your CEO, I grieve alongside our community. My heart goes out to the entire family, and we stand ready to support them every step of the way. Officer Wells noted that violent crimes involving children take an especially devastating emotional toll, not only on the victims' loved ones, but on the first responders who answer these heartbreaking calls. This is something none of us will ever forget, she said. And honestly, that's real talk right there. The community's response has been one of deep sorrow, righteous anger, and powerful unity. Friends, neighbors, and even strangers gathered at the Forest at Columbia Apartments to pay their respects. They brought flowers, candles, handwritten notes, and balloons, each tribute a symbol of a life taken way too soon. That evening, a candlelight vigil was held in memory of Tameca and her 7-year-old niece, Dior. Loved ones shared heartfelt stories. They spoke of Tameca's warmth, her bright smile, and how fiercely she loved children. They described a woman who gave her all to her family, a nurturing spirit who deserved a long, peaceful future. And then there was Dior, only 7 years old, with so much life left to live. Those who knew her spoke of a joyful, energetic little girl with a big imagination and an even bigger heart. Dior was innocent in every sense of the word, caught up in a nightmare she never deserved. A GoFundMe campaign was created in honor of 7-year-old Dior Scott to help support her funeral expenses and provide assistance to her grieving family. The fundraiser aimed to ease some of the financial burden during this unimaginable time and ensure that Dior was laid to rest with the dignity and care she deserved. Her family was deeply touched by the outpouring of love and generosity, and they appreciated every donation, message, and prayer as they navigated this heartbreaking loss. Moving on, while William Almond remains in police custody and the investigation continues, troubling questions still hang in the air. Why wasn't he stopped before things escalated to this point? Were there warning signs that were ignored? Could protective measures have been taken sooner to prevent this tragedy? These questions don't just haunt Tameca's family, they haunt an entire community. What protections failed them? What more could have been done? And perhaps most urgently, how do we make sure that other victims of domestic violence are truly heard before it's too late? More than legal questions, these are moral ones. They force society to take a hard look at itself and ask whether we as neighbors, as law enforcement, and as a community are doing enough to protect those most at risk. So what can we actually do about this? First, we must listen. When someone says they're scared, we have to believe them. Every call for help deserves to be taken seriously. Second, we must support local organizations and shelters that offer safety, counseling, and escape routes for those trapped in dangerous situations. Giving these programs the resources they need can literally make the difference between life and death. And finally, we must demand stronger laws and faster action when someone has a known history of threats or violence. Whether it's by pushing for better training for law enforcement, creating stricter protections for victims, or holding those in power accountable, change can only come if we speak up. Let me tell you something. Behind every headline is a devastated family. Every loss leaves a mother. Every child left without a parent reminds us of the human cost of domestic violence. And every time we raise our voices as a community and as individuals, we move one step closer to preventing the next tragedy. Girl, we can't keep losing our sisters like this. We can't keep watching children become victims of grown folks' dysfunction. Tameca filed that restraining order because she knew she was in danger. She did everything she was supposed to do, followed every legal step, and it still wasn't enough to save her life or protect little Dior. That's what makes this case so infuriating and so heartbreaking at the same time. The system that was supposed to protect them failed them in the worst possible way. William made his intentions clear. He posted them on social media for the whole world to see. He threatened the family multiple times. He told them exactly what he was planning to do, and yet somehow he was still able to carry out this attack. Anyways, this is bigger than just one man's rage. This is about a culture that doesn't take domestic violence seriously enough until it's too late. This is about a system that moves too slowly when women and children are in immediate danger. This is about red flags that get ignored until they become obituaries. But hey, we can honor Tameca and Dior's memory by making sure their story isn't told in vain. We can demand better from our communities, our law enforcement, and our legal system. We can support the organizations doing the real work to help victims escape dangerous situations before they become statistics. And we can keep talking about these cases, keep bringing them out of the shadows, because silence only protects the abusers. When we speak up, when we share these stories, when we refuse to let these victims be forgotten, that's when change starts to happen. Tameca Pullins was 29 years old. She was a daughter, a provider, a peacemaker who deserved to live a long, peaceful life surrounded by the family she loved so much. Dior Scott was only 7 years old, a bright, imaginative little girl who should have grown up to chase her dreams and make her mark on this world. They didn't deserve what happened to them. Their family didn't deserve to lose them. And their community didn't deserve to have this violence tear through their neighborhood. But their story deserves to be told. It deserves to be heard. And it deserves to spark the kind of change that could save the next Tameca, the next Dior, the next family facing this kind of terror. Moving on, I said what I said. We have to do better. We have to be better. And we have to make sure that when the next person reaches out for help, crying for protection, begging for safety, we don't let them down the way the system let Tameca down. Because at the end of the day, this isn't just about one case, one family, one tragedy. This is about all of us. This is about the kind of community we want to be and the kind of protection we're willing to fight for. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Are we doing enough to protect victims of domestic violence? What changes do you want to see in your community? And how can we make sure stories like Tameca and Dior's lead to real action instead of just more headlines? Keep watching, keep learning, and keep speaking up for those who can't speak for themselves anymore. Subscribe to Shadowed Crimes TV if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell, and let's keep bringing these important stories out of the shadows together.